What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 Team Builder for Red Season 8, taking on TB and the Vancouver Milotics. Never played TB in a recorded match. I played him one time, I believe, before, and we beat him in Mount Silver. So I'm looking forward to this one. He's got a pretty scary team, so let's talk about it. Megalade, Tabu Finny, Mamoswine, Arcanine, Dragonite Z-User, Amoonguss, Jirachi, Blaziken Z-User, Electrode Z-User, Claydol, Whirlipede Z-User. So he filled all 11 slots there. It's not a huge deal. Priority-wise, he's got Megalade with Shadow Sneak, Mamoswine with Ice Shard, Arcanine with Extreme Speed, Dragonite with Extreme Speed, and Blaziken with Vacuum Wave. Hazard setting in Mamo with Rocks, Jirachi with Rocks, Whirlipede with Spikes and Toxic Spikes, and Claydol with Rocks. Excuse me. Tons of removal. He's got Finny with Defog, Dragonite with Defog, Blaziken with Defog, and Claydol with Rapid Spin. And then only the Dragonite being 4 times weak to Ice is his only 4 times weakness on the squad. Excuse me. What I'm not expecting, I'm not really expecting the Dragonite. I don't think the Dragonite makes that much sense. I've got a lot of stuff that'll outspeed it and be able to deal with it pretty well. He's going to find it very difficult to break through my team with Dragonite. And I think that Gallade and Blaziken are better options. Sorry, Gallade, Arcanine, Jirachi, and Mamoswine are better options offensively for him. I'm sort of iffy on that because it definitely could come, and I've prepped for it accordingly. Blaziken is sort of iffy for me. It's definitely a good way for him to break through Mega Aggron, but he very much struggles to break Suicune with it. I've got a lot of stuff that outruns it, and he can't really do that much to Reuniclus either. It does get ways to beat that, but there you go. You know, just the threats of Mega Gallade and Blaziken being there sort of force Munchlax to not come, and I'll talk about that at the end, but I just can't necessarily see, like, Blaziken needs too much coverage against me, so I'd be a little bit surprised to see it over some of the other things that I am expecting. Claydol and Whirlipede I also don't think are going to come. I'm not even bothering to bring removal this week for a Whirlipede, and I don't have a Grounded Poison, so... oh yeah, my only removal is Rotom-Mow, that's why. Rotom-Mow doesn't really have a fantastic matchup here against Simple Fire, unfortunately, and, like, you know, a Lum Dragonite sets up on it for free. Jirachi's iffy. Mamoswine beats it, so... Shit, Jesus, sorry. Amoonguss also beats it, so there's a bunch of reasons why I'm not bringing Rotom-Mow, but I'm not prepping for Whirlipede. If he wants to lead Whirlipede... If he wants to bring Whirlipede, I might just lead Suicune, honestly, because I'm really not sure what a Whirlipede's going to want to do against my Suicune set, and I might just get up to +2 for free as he tries to hazard stack me. So, yeah, let's talk about my team then, because I'm expecting everything else to come. Mega Aggron first up, fully physically defensive with Heavy Slam, Counter, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. So I eat hits from the Gallade at +2, the Blaziken, the Arcanine, the Mamoswine. All of those are big physical threats, and I can just counter them back after eating a hit. So it's a very nice way to kind of pick one off. Rocks are pretty helpful against his team. Chip down the Arcanine and the Dragonite. Specifically, the multi-skill on the Dragonite is obviously fairly important, but the Arcanine getting weakened is very helpful too. Even a little bit of chip on the Finny, forcing it to, you know, waste 2 turns, getting leftovers recovery is helpful. And then I've got Toxic there. It's not super relevant. You know, it's there for the Arcanine. It's not, again, it's not super relevant. Oh, Heavy Slam. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I want Toxic on this set because he's got a Finny. It's not going to be that relevant against his team anyways. I think I'd rather have Earthquake. So we'll just swap to Earthquake last minute here, because Earthquake's going to hit the Jirachi, the Blaziken, and the Arcanine at the very least, and I should be able to get a hit off on the Amoonguss. So, yeah, again, fully physically defensive for those, and then I've got Sturdy to live a hit. Keldeo. Oh my god. Excuse me. Scarf Keldeo. I will outrun the Dragonite. That's the main thing, right? Outrunning Dragonite at +1, so again, I've prepped for that. I've got Icy Wind just for the Dragonite, or for speed control in a pinch. Also is my best way to hit the Amoonguss, which is likely going to be his Keldeo switch in. I don't have great ways to deal with Amoonguss, but this is one of them potentially. Secret Sword beats the Jirachi. Should beat the Jirachi. That's the pretty much the only reason I actually have Secret Sword, I believe, because Surf deals with everything else. Realistically, Surf is a very spammable move against his team. His water resists are the Finny, the Amoonguss, and the Dragonite. So, you know, Finny doesn't get recovery, Dragonite has to run Roost, and Dragonite doesn't really switch into attacks very well because it doesn't want to break its multi-scale. And if I have Scald, he's not going Dragonite. Amoonguss. Oh my god, excuse me. Amoonguss. Amoonguss is a thing. And it chews water hits. So obviously Amoonguss is going to be his Keldeo switch in every single time. I'm going to make the appropriate double into Entei the first time and catch him with it and hopefully get a massive hit off against his team. Hidden Power Electric is there for the Tapu Fini. I thought about Hidden Power Poison just because Hidden Power Electric leaves me open to Mamoswine coming in. And I'm just going to have to take that risk realistically because I don't want to necessarily click Hidden Power Poison and have Jirachi come in. Actually, that's a little bit safer. Now that I'm thinking about the matchup, Hidden Power Poison is definitely a little bit safer than Hidden Power Electric. So we're just going to roll with Hidden Power Poison. I don't think Finny can swap into a bunch of Hidden Power Poisons. He's definitely going to expect it to be Hidden Power Electric, but Hidden Power Poison will do the trick here against the Jirachi. Because even if he goes into Jirachi to scout it, maybe Hidden Power Grass is better. No, because Hidden Power Poison is a nice neutral hit against the Amoonguss too. So I like this. I like this. Enough speed on here for Jirachi. So I'm outspeeding Jirachi, max special attack, a little bit of HP. Again, you know, this doesn't feel like the most optimal set against this team. Like, I feel like Specs would definitely perform a lot better than Scarf would, but I just sort of had to be Scarf to guaranteed outspeed things like Scarf Jirachi, and I want to make sure that I can outspeed a Dragonite at +1. You know, that being said, I can also outspeed Scarf Mamoswine, which is definitely a legitimate set. Scarf Finny, which is also a legitimate set. It does get Trick, so that's sort of what I've got going on there. Entei, I'm bringing an AV Inner Focus set, so I'm not entirely sure what the AV is for. I think I was just running 4 attacks. I definitely chew hits from Amoonguss though, so if he wants to go Amoonguss, I can eat hits from that. Sacred Fire dents everything on his team. He doesn't really want to, doesn't have a great switch into it besides Arcanine, which I've got the Stomping Tantrum there for, or the Stone Edge. Excuse me, Flame Charge. Just for a little bit of boosty boosts on the speed, so I can speed tie things like Scarf Jirachi on the switch in, although it's never going to switch in on me. Stone Edge is there mainly for the Dragonite, so I thought about running HP Ice on this set, but I ended up settling against it. I was originally a mix set with HP Ice, and I think I had Lava Plume on there too. It wasn't worth it overall for me, because I'd rather click Sacred Fire against it and try for the burn chance. And I wanted to be AV for whatever reason. I don't even remember anymore why I'm AV. Special Jirachi maybe. Special Blaziken. I don't know. Special Arcanine. Something along those lines. To eat hits with. You know, it's just nice having a special sponge because the rest of my team is very physically defensive. So just have one special sponge. And Stone Edge is there to hit the Dragonite. That's, again, the only reason I have there. I'm speed tying Max Speed Jirachi, Max Tech, and then Inner Focus allows me to not be flinched by the Iron Head shenanigans of the Jirachi. So that is the goal with that. I will also not be flinched by an Icicle Crash from the Mamoswine. So if that ever comes down to that, although he would probably click Earthquake, that's what's going to happen. Garchomp running a banded set here. It 2-hit KOs every single Mon on his team, depending on the coverage move I click. So, again, I'm not expecting the Claydol or the Dragonite, and if both don't show up, I can just freely kind of spam Earthquake against him. To be completely honest with you, Earthquake will obliterate his team. Again, his only switch-ins to that are the Claydol and the Dragonite, and I don't really care. If Finny doesn't show up for whatever reason, then I can just spam Outrage as well. Although I'd rather not be locked into Outrage with the Mamoswine sitting there. If I have to, I will. Just because Garchomp's more of a breaker this week rather than a cleaner, I can break with Garchomp and then have Keldeo clean up later. If Garchomp can break the Amoonguss and kill it, then Keldeo has a field day. Especially, oh, and Suicune too, because again, I'm bringing double water this week. Poison Jab is there exclusively for the Finny. Dragon Claw is there for a variety of reasons, but Banded Outrage is a roll to Oko, no bulk Dragonite through multiscale. So that is why we've got Outrage. I don't want to rely on locking myself into Outrage, but Banded Dragon Claw is going to do a shitload to a lot of other stuff. It's a safer click right off the bat when there's a Dragonite and a Claydol right there. I don't know what he would swap into Garchomp. Possibly the Finny. I think it is more likely that he's going to switch into Claydol. So I may risk the Dragon Claw right off the bat with the anticipation that I can switch into maybe Suicune on the Finny. Yeah, but that's the Garchomp set. I'm outspeeding the Jirachi just like the Entei, or sorry, just like the Keldeo and the Entei speed tying. Max Tech, a little bit of HP. Suicune, Sub, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Scald. This set, it does a lot here. Granted, I don't eat a ton of hits from things, but I can come in fairly freely on the Arcanine and the Blaziken and sort of Calm Mind in their face. I did have Protect on here originally, but I did feel that Ice Beam was somewhat necessary against some of the mons on his team. I'm a little bit scared of a Nature's Madness Finny sort of wearing this down pretty quickly. And so it was nice to have Protect to just get some leftovers recovery back at the same time. But I am speed tying it, and so I feel like I can get a sub off. I'm not sure if Nature's Madness breaks subs or not. I'm yet to decide if that's a thing or not. So sort of a test week in terms of the Finny versus Suicune matchup and seeing where that goes. I didn't have a ton of great options here. I really thought about bringing Clefable, but Clefable just didn't have the oomph that I wanted this week, especially against Double Fire and Jirachi. Like, Jirachi is just kind of a cuck to it. Although Clefable is a very good Gallade answer, and I don't have the best Gallade answers, so that's what Kuhn's there for. It's really got natural bulk, so max HP and then max speed to tie the Finny, and a little bit of physical defense there. Ice Beam is there primarily for the Dragonite. It can eat a hit and then Ice Beam back. Again, Dragonite's sort of a theme here. Scald over Surf, just because I don't care about the Misty Terrain. I'd still rather get Burns. That's sort of the idea behind the Kuhn. And then Reuniclus, I'm running a Colbur Berry set to eat a knockoff from the Gallade. I am Magic Guard. I'm sort of questioning whether or not I want to be Magic Guard. There's not a whole lot that's going to damage me besides rocks with the Magic Guard, and I'm considering being Overcoat so that this is my switch in to the Amoonguss every single time. I'm actually going to switch it because why the hell not, really, right? I've got Trick Room on there just in case, I can set up a Trick Room in some sort of situation and start sweeping through his team. Psyshock is there over Psychic just because it'll hit the Gallade better in a 1v1 scenario. And I believe it's in my best interest to click Psyshock over Shadow Ball. I could be entirely wrong on that. In which case I should definitely switch this to Psychic. Shadow Ball's there for the Jirachi and the Claydol mainly. This is a triple Psychic team, so I can pick something off with the Shadow Ball, and Psyshock should be able to break through the rest of the team. But I will calc before I finish what I'm doing here, before I repaste the team, to figure out if I'm going to be clicking Shadow Ball or Psyshock against the Gallade anyways. And then I've got Recover there as well, just to get some recovery off, obviously. I'm kind of glad that I changed this to Overcoat just because of the Amoonguss Spore. It's definitely a threat is the thing, and then at the same time Misty Terrain kind of cucks it, but it's nice to have a backup plan just in case Misty Terrain is down and he wants to click Spore, because I'm not bringing the Rotom-Mow, and Amoonguss beats Rotom-Mow 1v1 anyways. Fully physically defensive Reuniclus, so again I eat the knockoff from the Gallade, I eat the knockoff from the Blaziken. I'm semi-expecting X-Scissor on the Gallade instead, predicting my Colbur Berry, but we'll see if that happens. Maybe a Crunch from the Arcanine, I can eat that too. So it's kind of the idea behind the Reuniclus there. Obviously Gallade can't really touch me with Psychic or Fighting Stab, and so that's the general idea behind Reuniclus. In terms of what I'm not bringing again, Clefable, I kind of touched on this a little bit. I don't think Clefable's got a fantastic matchup. I don't think it's got a horrible one either. I was definitely considering a Life Orb Clefable, but at the same time, I'd want Clefable to be a wall here. And as unbreakable as I thought my team was in the draft analysis, this team has a tremendous amount of breakers. Now, granted, this is a lot more breakers than you'd normally see on a team. Like if I look at my Week 2 opponent, Nacho, he does not have this many breakers. He's got like 2 breakers on his team compared to the 4 that I see here between Gallade, Dragonite, Mamo, Blaziken. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of problems that I had a lot of problems prepping for this team, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of problems prepping for this team, even though the speed tier is a little bit bunched up. He's got 3 base 80 mons. That makes it a little bit easier to prep around speed, but that's sort of where I was going with that. And I forgot 4 EVs too. So yeah, Clefable Rotom-Mow is weak to the Amoonguss, and that would be the only thing that I would want to bring it for, is a Spore Switch in or a Defogger, which again, I don't know how much priority he's going to put on rocks this game. I think he just wants to hit me hard and fast. Alolan Persian was an alright Jirachi answer, but double fighting kind of deters me from bringing a Lowland Persian. Parting shot support is great, but it just doesn't do a whole lot besides that, and it just feels like a wasted mon on the team for utility instead of actually bringing bulk or my own offense against him. And then Munchlax, again, I'm not a fan of Munchlax against double fighting. It's just straight up fodder to all the physical offense on this team, and it's a special wall, so no Munchlax for me. So that is it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy our week 1 match against TB, and I'll catch you guys for the match.